recorded. I just started recording. Didn't feel the need to record the whole intro stuff, but yeah, I just started it. So with that said, let's just start the stream as well, man. So as I said, I'm starting as an analyst within Escape. So what can you expect from me? Um, you can expect weekly and daily recaps, of course. I'm gonna share analysis. I'm gonna share technical analysis. I'm gonna share some fundamental stuff. I'm gonna share some overall broader market perspective from me myself. Um, we're gonna pretty much cover everything almost, right? For the people that already know me, already know what I did before I joined 2 Degrees. Um, you might remember that I've had a Substack. I ran intermarket analysis. That's what I still do for 2 Degrees as well. So we're gonna kind of take elements from that from the end of month market report, and we're gonna sprinkle them in the analyst channel. So make sure to have it turned on, by the way. If you go to the top of the Discord, it says channel and roles. If you click that, you can click on browse channels, and then you can add my channel. It's in the 2 Degrees analyst and guild section. Should look like this. You missed those weekly reports. They were fire, weren't they? But now we're gonna get something pretty similar from me, from a day-to-day basis, right? Or from a week-to-week basis, however you want to see it. So yeah, just know that the frequency of stuff that's coming out is gonna increase, right? For those of you that have the Elite Collection, you still get access to the end of month market report, which is probably my most comprehensive piece of documentation I've ever made. And we're going to continue to do them every single week. Yeah, you can expect live streams from me, probably 2 a month. We're going to do any type of live stream. Yeah, you can just hit the add button and it will just add it for sure. So what type of live streams are we going to do? I'm thinking educational stuff, maybe live analysis, AMAs, so ask me anything, Q&As, that kind of stuff. Anything, actually, man. I'm down to just share it in advance when I'm gonna stream, and then I'll just ask you guys as well what you're interested in, what you want to see, and we'll make sure to pick topics from you guys as well, right? At the end of the day, I'm here to help you guys as well, and I want to make sure that I can, if anyone has any questions or whatever, that I can cover those too. So, speaking about the end of month market report, right? If you have the Elite Collection, make sure to check out the 2 Degrees library. If you head over to wop.com/2degrees, go to the Learn tab and you'll find this. If you have the Elite Collection subscribed, right? You'll get one of these every single month. Yeah, it's included in the Elite Collection. They are pretty comprehensive reports about the last one. I think was like 30 pages. We covered the indices market, we covered the forex market, we covered the bond market, we cover the overall market narrative that's going on the fundamental scale. We look at technical analysis, basically everything there is from an IST perspective, and I also make sure to incorporate all different tools we have to make sure that I can also showcase how to use them from a higher time frame perspective or in a lower time frame perspective, right? Now when I ask you guys a question, right? Every Sunday, we upload a newsletter. Is anyone familiar with the newsletter we upload every Sunday or post every Sunday/Monday? You'll receive it in your inbox if you're in here, I think. Type a 1 in chat if you have ever seen our Sunday market recap. Or if anyone hasn't seen it, it's gonna be okay. You've seen it, Algo, perfect. Anyone else on Sundays? Okay, perfect. Yeah, I see some people see it. That's perfect. So the purpose for these market recaps, right? They're here, and for the ones that don't know, since February, all the market recaps you've seen are made by me, right? So I write the emails every Sunday. Only the coming soon part in WOP. Well, if you're a Elite Collection member, you should receive the emails if you're not, unless you unsubscribed from them, of course, in the, earlier. Just know that every Sunday you'll receive a newsletter with a market recap, right? Where I glance over the previous week's price action in a few different assets, right? Usually 3 different pairs. I just look at a few setups. I look at a few tools and kind of show you guys how those tools could have gotten you a nice setup, or how to read the market with those tools, right? The purpose for these newsletters is basically to show you guys how to incorporate the tools in any different market in any given time, right? And as Daniel already said, the coming soon part, we're gonna make sure to convert all the newsletters that we do into PDFs as well, so they don't get lost, right? Because we get it, email boxes, they get spammed. Email boxes, they are full. Personally, mine has like 700 unread emails from all different companies or whatnot, and you might miss a few. That's completely fine. But to make sure you guys don't have to miss anything, we're gonna upload them to WOP as well, so you can always find them, right? And we'll always make sure to put some gems in the text in here, to put some gems in the charts for you guys, to make sure that they're the highest quality and you can actually learn from them as well, right? They're basically educational. They have an educational purpose first, right? So for the guys, or for the people that do read the newsletter, right? Do you have any feedback, right? Is there anything you would like to see? Is there anything you would like to learn from newsletters? Is there anything you enjoy about the newsletters? Or is there anything you say, that could be better, or that I'd like to see that differently? Or maybe you want to see me look at specific assets, right? And we do really look at the feedback, because a few weeks ago there was someone that asked, I never see the crypto markets in newsletters, so we made sure to pick up the crypto markets more often in those newsletters. So yeah, if you have anything, just type it in the chat, just let me know. I'm curious to see if you guys enjoy these newsletters or not. How do you get the newsletter? It's your first time in here. I think you should receive it automatically if you're in here and verified, because it all goes through WOP. If you can double check your inbox. If you don't receive them, please open up a ticket and we'll make sure that you'll receive everything in time. You haven't received them lately. Also not in the spam inbox or something? By the way, the mic quality, is it fine? Do you hear my PC running in the background, or is there no like noise in the background? Is it sharp and clear? No noise. Perfect, perfect. Yeah, I've put my PC on the desk now, and my microphone's like above me. I redid my whole setup for the 20th time this year alone. So I just wanted to make sure that everything is alright, and you're not gonna hear like some kind of sound of a plane about to fly away because of all the fans. You've been getting the marketing ones for trading tools, but not recaps. Yeah, just open the tickets and we'll make sure to check if you're receiving them or not, or maybe something going on in there. We'll check. Chris blocked that. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, Chris blocks the sound. Yeah, I made sure to enable that in order to make sure we don't have annoying sounds in the background. Yeah, so okay, if you have any feedback for the newsletters or whatever, just ping me in chat, send me a message, let it know in here. It's all fine, and we'll look at it for sure. Every feedback is welcome, because it only helps us grow, it only helps us provide better content for sure, right? So I just thought, what's the best way to start this whole analyst thing? Maybe we should just start with AMA, right? Being Ask Me Anything. If you have any questions for me regarding my trading, regarding my analysis, regarding what I do, anything for that matter, now's the time to ask questions, and I'll make sure to answer them in the best way possible. What's my indicator combination to go? Oh, that's a good one. It's a hard question as well, because I use a lot of them. I use a lot of them in different scenarios, in different ways. So I'd say my favorite ones. Let me load up TradingView real quick just to pick at what we have. It's probably gonna be the higher time frame power of 3 for sure. It's up there in the top 5 for me. Um, Fractal consolidations is one of the favorites for me as well. Let's see. Liquidity depth is one I've used a lot, and they're in a lot of templates of mine. I have like 80 plus layouts on TradingView, and a lot of them have liquidity depth. So that's definitely one that I use a lot for sure. Let's see, what else do we have? I am also gonna check out the latest indicators released a little bit more. So Forever Model and Dodgy's DD. Those are very interesting tools because I want to check out how can I incorporate them in my day-to-day life, because I am getting a little bit busier nowadays. So I want to make sure to not use or be at the charts the whole day, right? Do I use DCT? If yes, what's your favorite conference to enter a trade, and what type of trades do you like to catch? Um, I am pretty familiar with DTT, of course, because I've written content about it, so I know how it works. But I do not really use it on a day-to-day basis. I do check it out for a higher time frame confluence, for example. I check out the DTT yearly often. Um, and my favorite confluence to trade and what type of trades. Basically, if you have seen one of the live streams from Josh, that's basically how I trade too. I trade market maker models, and that's all I do. Yeah, I'm just a one-trick pony, just trade market maker models, and that's it. And usually my favorite stage is least favorite from 2 degrees himself. It's the second stage. He hates the second stage. I'm a second stage fan. Um, yeah, that's probably my favorite. Um, can you give a rundown on what you do when you first sit down on the screen to analyze what you think is gonna happen? That's a good question. I like that. I like that for sure. Let's do it. I'll bring over TradingView for you guys. Let me see if you can see it. I think so, right? Or did I click the wrong share? I clicked the wrong share. Okay. Should be good now. Basically what I do, right? When I trade NQ, I basically only usually trade the AM session, right? And my process is pretty simple. When I want to check out the RTH chart, right? And let's clear up the chart before we start. Let's see. We've had the previous day right here, right? All I do is I look at an RTH chart, right? And then I ask myself, okay, what's important? What are the most interesting things I see right now? And I basically start by first looking at, okay, right? We'll add liquidity depth, for example, right? And then we'll open up the settings for liquidity depth, and I would add it to one setup for life. If anyone isn't familiar with one setup for life, let me know. Basically, it's from Ice-T's videos, where he has 5 or 4 different setups that he goes over that you can follow throughout the day on indices, with the following times: Asia, London, New York AM and PM, and the lunch in between. And basically, if you enable it, liquidity depth will automatically highlight those. Personally, I disable the session highlighting and disable the depth for indices for now, just so I have a clear view of what's going on, right? I want to see the most important things, and then of course we have a big RTH gap up here. And so my focus goes on, are we in a buy or sell program? That's the most important part, right? So if you look at a daily chart, my eye instantly goes to here, right? Those relative equal highs above here. So basically I'm gonna just be looking for buying setups only, right? And I'll make sure that wherever I'm about to trade, that day is also aligned for buy setups as well, the same way I look at the daily chart, right? I'll look at a 4-hour and I can see like, okay, we've opened up here, we created a massive gap down, we traded into a discount, filled those gaps in, so likelihood of trying to get back up here again, right? And then I just look for buy setups within the market maker model, within this piece of price section right here in the buy side curve that I'm expecting to form right here. If there's a setup against my bias, I most likely do not take it. unless it's so clear that I just have to, right? That it's just too clear to not take. Um, what pairs do I focus on? I mainly trade NQ and Euro USD, right? So because you guys know, I do a lot of intermarket analysis, right? And with intermarket analysis comes with the fact that you analyze if a market is in the right state to trade, yes or no, right? Because you're basically looking at the market condition that's present, right? And whenever something happens in the market at a global scale, that will determine market conditions, right? Right now, I'm more or less focusing a little bit more on NQ than I am on Euro, right? And why is that? Well, if we look at the Euro chart on a daily. Oh wait, I removed the indicators. That's not good. What we can see is that Euro took out a previous year high right here, a other yearly high from 2023 right here, and a 2022 high right here, right? And after this, we had a very slow decline with a lot of consolidating price action, right? So I wasn't too interested in the euro during this run right here. So now that we are getting some action again, where we have a right framework to look for buy side liquidity, that's only when I'm getting a little bit more interested in euro again, right? Well, at the same time, if we look at NQ, right, what we can see is that the buy program is pretty much still going on, right? There's still a very clear target, right? For the same, with euro, my expectation of it is to go higher right now, right? We could aim for the buy side liquidity right here, right? Especially after taking out internal range liquidity right here. Usually the normal expectation is to go for buy side in the external range, right? But since we have taken out massive yearly targets, I'm a little bit more cautious, right? Whereas on NQ, we have very big yearly targets still on the radar, right above us, right? So the draw on that is a little bit stronger for me, hence I focus a little bit more on NQ. You have Elite for the moment, you use mostly T-Trade's fractal model, but you want to learn all the others. Higher time frame power of 3 and fractal consolidation, you really want to go for them since you like the market maker models. Well, those are perfect for them, honestly. If you have any questions about those tools or how to incorporate them for market maker models specifically, let me know. Do I use any T2 degrees indicators or do I trade without? Yeah, I'm dependent on them, man, to be honest. I use them almost every day. Every day that I look at a chart, I do use tools. Because not only just for intraday price action, but also there's a lot of free tools that are amazing, right? For example, we have the IST, Commitment of Traders. This is one that I use every single week. We have the seasonal open interest. It's also a free tool that I use every single week. The ones that read the end of month market report will probably be familiar with it and have seen it a few times already now. We have the seasonality tool. That's one I use a lot as well for higher time frame analysis. Seasonal tendency. See if it shows up. There we go. And then we plot it for 2025, and it should be all good. Yeah, those are tools I use a lot, honestly. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I had to let my cat out of the door. She woke up. Then she starts wandering on my desk. Okay, let's see. Where are we? Oh, hi, NQ Neto. I'm sorry if I didn't say hello back to you. How are you doing? Hope all is well. Yeah, so basically, I do use a lot of the tools. The Dodgy DD indicator, or DDIFG, however you want to call it, is one I've been looking at for the past weeks. Of course, because we were about to launch it, so I do have very good feelings about that one because it really is a nice framework if you understand the tool. There's a lot of customizability within it as well. I hope you all guys all joined 2 Degrees last week and Ryan in his live stream where he explained the indicator because the amount of filters that are in it and that kind of stuff really does make it more than just a tool that yeah, of course I can show you. it makes it more than just a tool that just shows you a IFEG, of course, right? It's more than that. And it's because of all the filters, because of all the rules, because of all the stuff that's behind it, it just uh, that makes it so much more, right? Can you help a little with it? You missed it. You missed it. Oh, the IFEG stream. I think there should also be coming a recording of the live stream. It should. I don't know if it's already posted. Let me check real quick for you. No, it hasn't been posted yet, but I'm sure it's probably recorded and should be on its way soon. Yeah, it's in the external resources, and then you can go to the live stream database. I'll share a link in here. Here is where you can find live stream recordings. I think it's still about to be uploaded, so that's why it's not in there. What optimized settings do you just suggest for dodgy IFD since you tried it on as an analyst? I posted a cut version on YouTube in the meantime. Oh, that's also perfect. I usually, to be honest, which settings do I use? I haven't played around with all the settings too much to see what I like the most. However, something that I do like is, for example, I'm gonna play around with the macros only setting, right? Because of course, the model is pretty mechanical, right? It will execute and it will show you, it will print based upon rules, right? But what if someone just does not want to take a lot of trades throughout the day every time those criteria are met? Because, if the criteria is met, it just means the tool is going to print, right? Doesn't mean that it's aligned with your bias, right? Because you still gotta have your bias right, and you should not trade against bias just because the indicator says something, right? For example, a great one is, let's look at this piece of price action, right? It was today. Why on a 6 minute, on a 5 minute? Yeah, okay, let's just use a 6 minute, even though I don't use this time frame, right? Just as an example. You could see here that the indicator fired off a lot of bearish setups right here, right? Even if I would trade this today, just based on the indicator, and I would just, based on what it says, I would do it. I would still not take the short setups, right? Because I understand that the higher time frame premises is a buy setup, right? It's a buy model. So I understand the fact that, I'm not going to look for sell setups in a bullish market, right? Yeah, the criteria for the mechanical entry strategy is there, because basically what this is, what the tool tells you is the mechanical rules for the entry, right? Or how Dodgy frames it. But I am still going to use my own analysis and my own discretion to kind of judge if the setup is a good setup for me, yes or no, right? Based on what I expect the market to do on a higher time frame, right? Or based on its buy or sell program. And if I see that we've made a sell side curve right here, and I now expect a buy side curve to unfold, and I see the market basically raiding liquidity down here, right? Then trading upwards, creating a bullish IFEG, then I'd say that's a pretty good setup for me, right? Because it's basically the first stage accumulation right here inside this market maker buy model. Is there anything that plots a buy or sell model, or is that the fractal consolidations toolkit? That's indeed the fractal consolidation toolkit that you can use for it, yeah. Fractal consolidations is by far the best tool for market maker models, I think, combined with higher time frame power of 3. If you want to like plot out the complete market maker buy model, of course that is. For example, Sniper's Forever model also focuses on market maker models, right? But it focuses on a specific part. It focuses on the smart money reversal that has a change in state of delivery, right? Within a higher time frame fair value gap with SMT, right? So it's a very specific part of market maker models in a specific order, right? If you just want to be able to see everything or any buy or sell model, I'd say use fractal consolidations and higher time frame power of 3 for the dealing range tool, because that's amazing as well. Can I go over my understanding for market maker models? Sure. Well, what do you want to know? Tell me anything or any question you have, and I'll try to answer them as best as I can. Or is there anything, how can I say, unclear about market maker models? Is there stuff you still want to know? market maker model are king. Yeah, I agree with you on that. What's the win rate of the indicator from Doji? Well, there's no specific win rate for the indicator, as the indicator is a visualization tool, right? It just visualizes the criteria that Doji has set up, or that you can set up on your own with these settings, right? FVG filters, liquidity time frame, session filters, anything for that matter, to tell you what a possible setup could be, right? Or to tell you what the entry criteria could be, and then you have to backtest it on your own, right? It just saves you a lot of time because you don't have to look for everything. It just does it for you, right? Mark it up on NQ, how would I view it? What in price section? Those are some good questions that we have. Okay, if I would have to mark up this, right? The first thing I'd see, let's say we haven't had this piece of price action here, right? Let's say we are still down here in time, right? Right before the day opens. And then we'll go on a 5-minute. Basically what I will look at on a RTH chart, for example, is okay, we have a big gap over here, right? That hasn't been rebalanced whatsoever, right? It's completely open. We haven't traded in it for, except for like maybe 10%, 15%, whatever it is. And usually I just have a separate layout for this with the dynamic RTH tool, right? RTH cap. Let me see if I can find it for you guys, the layout. Should be here. Okay, yeah, got it. There it is. This is my layout for RTH charts. Might look a little bit messy, but I assure you it's not, right? The bright orange ones, like the darker orange ones, are Monday's gaps, right? Specifically. And all the other ones are just other days, right? So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? Then I have the liquidity depth on it to showcase me the important liquidity pools. And with this, I can kind of navigate price action with RTH gaps, right? And right here, you can see we have a pretty much open gap right here that has not been mitigated. So that's the first thing I look at, right? And if we add the middle line, the 50% line is pretty important. We can see how we trade into the gap and then start to make our reversal right here, right? If I had to frame this market maker model, right? Basically, we have AM session liquidity above this, right? 9:30 AM, we set in a high and we go lower immediately. And let me make it red. Right? So, and because like I said earlier, on the daily chart, I am looking at higher prices because we're looking at those equal highs above here, right? So we're basically already in a larger market maker buy model right here, right? If I had to mark it out, we'd have our original consolidation here. We have a first stage right here. We have the smart money reversal right here. Then we have a first stage here and the second stage right here, right? With our buy side liquidity above here. And then we'll basically look for this all over again on the lower time frame, right? So because we understand that we are looking at a buy side or a buy side development, right? And we also are looking at a buy side development on a lower time frame, I'm just gonna frame buy setups, right? So I want to see price move towards here, right? If I want to see the market move towards here, there's a few things I usually look at, right? So one being the dealing range, right? Is anyone familiar with dealing ranges, what they are, how they work? I think Josh talked about it in his stream a lot. It's implied dealing ranges measuring gaps applied with MMXM. I can go over that in a second for sure. That's a little bit more of the tough stuff, but it's interesting for sure. Type of one in chat if you're familiar with dealing ranges. If you've heard about it or if you know what they are. Perfect. Type a 2 in chat if you do not know how it works or if you're not familiar with dealing ranges. A 2. Already see 1, 2. A 2, a 2, a 2. Okay. Okay, perfect. We'll start with that first. Let's just go over that first, right? Whenever we have price action, right? A piece of price action like this, right? Very pretty. And the main thing that I would see right here is the fact that we took out buy side liquidity right here, and we took out sell side liquidity right here, right? So we basically sweat both sides of the market, right? Now, this is important because now we can basically frame premium to discount, right? How we usually do it, like this. Premium discount. Give me the premium discount. There we go. Oh, it should be the other way around. This is probably something a lot of you are familiar with, right? Type a 2 in chat if you do not understand this. Premium to discount. Or 3, because there's already some 2s. Type a 3 if you're not familiar with this. I see some more typing. Okay, so basically whenever we are whenever we want to buy, right, want to go long, we want to have a price that's good for us, right? We don't want to buy when it's very expensive, and you don't want to sell when it's very cheap, right? So we try to buy at the lower portion of a range, and we try to sell in the upper portion of a range, right? So we're selling when it's expensive, whether it's going short or exiting your trade, and we're going to buy when it's cheap, right? That kind of makes sense. Whenever you want to buy something and it's on sale, it's better to buy it then than to wait when it's full price again, right? Basically, dealing ranges are a continuation of premium and discount, right? Whenever you have a dealing range like this, instead of splitting it in 2 halves, you split it in 4 quarters, right? So, dealing range, there we go, like this, right? 0.25, 0.5, 0.75, and 1. Hey, Mo, let's go. Good to see you here. Core content Mon 7, yeah, perfect. Basically, what it's about is 25%, 0, or 0.25 to 0 is going to be the most discounted part of the range. 0.75 and upwards is going to be the most expensive part of the range, right? The most premium part of the range. With a dealing range, we can kind of navigate price action like this, a little bit more I cannot speak today. Intricate, right? And we're able to kind of frame market maker models with this, right? Because if we expect, because the market is going upwards, right, on a long term, let's say the market has been going upwards for a while, right? Like this, and we expect it to keep climbing higher, right? We're expecting it to trade higher, right? All the way until we reach the buy side liquidity pool again, right? But I'm gonna ask you a question. Where would be the first part in our understanding with ICT to look for a possible rejection of this, right? Let's say we are not sure that the market is actually going to continue, but we're going to be careful and we're going to wait to see if the market starts to reject somewhere in this range to go lower, right? Where would that part be? I saw someone putting in a message and it got deleted. You're probably not verified, so make sure to verify yourself. I don't know the command for verification. If there's a mod in here, please type it so you can help the guy out. 50% EQ, EQ. Yeah, perfect. All good. CE, all the same. Perfect. 50% is, of course, going to be the first point or the biggest point where we're going to look for a possible rejection. Yeah, perfect. There we have it. Unable to send messages. Check that message out because I saw someone send something, but it got deleted. So most likely you're not verified yet. Yeah. So as you guys said, indeed, 0.5 or the midpoint is going to be the first point in the range where we can expect some difficulty, right? What happens if we just blast through this and we see the market convincingly close above it? What can we expect to happen? Yeah, it's a bullish sign for sure. Exactly. So then we're going to look at the next part, 0.75, right? Is it going to give us something, right? Is that going to be a threshold, because yeah, kind of last line of defense as well, because what do we have here as well is the OTE, right? It's also up here. OTE, exactly, Kira, exactly. Hope all is well. All's fine over here. That's, yeah, BD. Now you can talk. Perfect. Yeah, we could come to back to a busy on a lower time frame to then go higher, right? Basically, what I want to illustrate is with, like, if I could have one tool or one thing that is my favorite thing in all of ICT's concepts is just this thing right here, right? And you can use HTF power of 3, and then you're gonna select any candle. You're gonna go down here, and you're gonna look at this Monster Lab power of 3 dealing ranges. Click extend, click whatever you want to, and it will show you the dealing range. Yeah, it's recorded for sure. It will show you the dealing range on the higher time frame power of 3 candle. Basically, when we have a market maker model that looks like this, right? And then we have the smart money reversal, we have a first stage, we have a second stage, and then we blast off, right? This is basically how a market maker model looks, right? A lot of you will probably be familiar with the standard image that ICT drew once, or you've seen it on Twitter, or you've seen it anywhere. I think it's a pretty popular concept, right? Basically, this thing right here is what happens in the market at all times, right? Anytime, anywhere, doesn't matter. If it's a 1 second chart, if it's a 1 hour chart, 1 day, 1 week, it doesn't matter. It's this same thing all over again, every time. What would confirm the smart money reversal for me? SMT? Could be SMT, yeah. Higher time frame PD arrays, SMT within that, all that kind of stuff. Stacking together PD arrays, that just helps with SMT, or helps with confirming a reversal for sure. So it could be trading into discount where there's a higher time frame PD array stacked with lower time frame PD arrays with SMT, right? Will give you a pretty big confirmation on if there's going to be reversal or not. For example, this whole trend upwards was basically market maker buy model, market maker buy model, market maker buy model, sell model, and then we're expecting a buy model again, right? That's basically what I just showed you on the chart right here. We have a big buy model, we have another buy model, and then here I'm going to look for another one, right, to play it out. But why are these dealing range tools my favorite? It's because you can basically predict where stuff is supposed to happen often within the range, right? Because the thing is, those phases aren't just randomly placed. They are usually, a large percentage of the time, they happen at a specific place. And if I would overlap it with this one, you're going to be able to see why, right? If I just extend it right here. Basically, within market maker models, the original consolidation is usually going to be in the top part, right? The first stage is usually going to be in the second stage is usually going to be in the third part, and the smart money reversal is always going to be in the lower end, right? And what I mean with this is, that's why I drew this tool. There we go. If we have a market maker model, let's just skip up. What can we see? We have a original consolidation that's off the charts, right? Because it's RTH price action only, so we cannot kind of see what happened before this. So I use this as like the drawn liquidity, and we can see it happens in here. Then we have a first stage that occurs, right? And it happens in here. We move on to the next one, and the sharp move upwards is the reaccumulation or redistribution, right? And we have a second stage in the third quadrant, right? Then we have the smart money reversal down here. We move up. We expect the first stage to happen. Where does it happen? Right inside here, right? We create liquidity down here below the 930 open, and then we start to move up, right? Remember that guy showed you or told about or talked about the second stage just before I put on the quadrants, right? Look at where the second stage happens, right in here, kind of hidden in plain sight. And I guarantee you, if you apply just this simple thing or do it with the higher time frame power of 3, you're gonna see this over and over again. It's just gonna be the same thing no matter the time frame, no matter anything, right? Here you can see it. It will do the dealing range for you automatically. Let's say we do 1 day. This is Friday and this is Wednesday. That was Thursday. Okay, let's do 2 days. And we'll make this solid. Perfect. I like to turn it up because I'm a little bit blind. I have a hard time seeing that stuff sometimes. So yeah, basically it annotates it for you, right? And then I do extend. Where is it? Oh yeah. Entire power of 3 look back. And then it will extend these lines the way I would do it, right? So with this, you can like let the indicator do it for you. Just makes it easier. I needed to add 1 day more. There we go. Perfect. Right, and we can basically do this on any sort of time frame. It doesn't matter on any buy model, right? I didn't touch it. I didn't touch it. You see? It's almost too picture perfect, right? Original consolidation happens up here. A distribution. Smart money reversal down here. Another reaccumulation. Second stage starts where? In 75 to 0.5%. And then starts to expand higher. It's almost as if it's... yeah, it's too crazy. It's too crazy how this stuff works. And let's say we're now going to go to a daily time frame, right? Did I just actually type in 1D? Okay, I'm stupid. There we go. How you can have access to the candles? That's the higher time frame power of 3. This one. There. That tool. I'm now just gonna measure it just because it's fast, and I don't have to set up the tool. But you're gonna see the same thing happening, right? Original consolidation stays perfectly inside this first quadrant, right? We have a first stage right inside the upper quadrant. We don't have a second stage in here. Yeah, for sure. This is the part for the dealing ranges. We have a first stage accumulation where inside the first quadrant right here. And now we're seeing a second stage possibly unfolding up here, right? So the first drawn liquidity on a lower time frame becomes this. And afterwards, for me, the one I'm looking at would be probably the fair value gap that's situated up here, and then the buy side liquidity pool here, and the buy side liquidity pool up there, right? And that way you can kind of make the bias and whole longer term view a lot easier for yourself. Because if you understand the dealing range like this, you just understand, okay, we took out buy side, we took out sell side, we created a dealing range. Now it's just all of a sudden much easier to kind of frame a narrative as to where price might be going, right? And then we can use very simple IST concepts such as the OTE, for example, and we measure it from the bodies. You can see we tap into OTE perfectly, we start to expand, right? Just very simple, plain old IST concepts from his earlier series are still working perfectly fine. Let's see if I missed any question or anything. How would I use this in a time? In a time where? How could you use this in a time? In what kind of time? I think something's missing from the sentence. Can I go more in depth on fractal consolidations? Yes, for sure. Oh yeah, there's a slow mode in chat because the other day we had 1,500 people in here, so we had to add slow mode to the chat. Apologies for that. Is this indicator for sale on WAP the higher time frame power of 3? Yeah, for sure. I see you have Pro Plus access. Do you still have it? Because it should be in there. Or if you have like I'm sorry, that's premium. Delay is gone. Let's go, Flux Master. Legend. Yeah, it's higher time frame power 3. It's available on WAP indeed. Or if you have a few indicators already, I'd say just go for delete collection because then you have everything at the same time. Oh, you have the dodgies tool. Okay, perfect. Yeah, higher time frame power 3 is a very good tool. Honestly, it will help. It helps me a lot personally. And would you say that we can apply this also in 1 minute in stage 3? Yeah, you can apply it on any time frame. Doesn't matter. If we go to a 1 minute, it's still gonna be the same thing. Right? Let's okay, let me look at it like this. Right? If we would apply this, what do you see? Original consolidation, stage 1 here, because not every market maker model has 1 or 2 stages, right? Some have 2, some have 3, right? It's not always exactly the same, but where it's gonna happen is pretty much the same all the time, right? Smart money reversal in the low end. Where is it below? Sell side liquidity. So we run 2 lows, we create a new dealing range, right? Now we're looking at a potential first stage. It might, and then we're gonna watch, is it gonna fill, is it not gonna fill? We have imbalances right here. If it starts to trade through the imbalance, close above it, then we have more confirmation on that this is actually a first stage and we will move upwards. Can I explain why I measured OTE from the body? Yeah, you can measure either from the bodies or from the wicks, but there is a series from ICT, and I think it's Market Maker Series 2014, where he goes over OTE and he explains the fact that he uses the bodies a lot for OTE instead of the wicks. Yeah, where price action is just bullish or bearish, you can still use this, right? Because it's still gonna retrace at a possible moment, right? Let's just look at this, for example, right? Price has been bullish this whole day, right? And now you're asking me, how can we apply this dealing range stuff on this 1 minute chart, right? Well, the thing is, you don't have to only use it on a 1 minute if you're just looking at 1 minute price action, right? You could look at a 15 or 5 minute dealing range, right? Let's say it's a 5 minute one, right? Let's just disable power 3 just for now. You could apply the dealing range like this in here, right? And frame your setups on a lower time frame. That's still very much possible, right? I mean, where are we? This is before the market opened. Yeah, basically we have a market maker model inside the bigger market maker model, right? Because this is also a bigger one. You get me? And then you can see that we have the midpoint right here. So this is EQ. Wait, sorry, here. This is going to be the EQ of the higher time frame market maker model. And then we can see the smaller one that's forming inside of it, right? Original consolidation, first stage, smart money reversal, first stage, second stage, and expansion upwards, right? And then it's targeting the upside. Is it me? My voice is different? Yeah, it's still me. My voice is different from where? Mr. Wolf. Chart is clean? Thank you, man. Appreciate it. How's my voice different? I don't know. I haven't... Yeah, okay, maybe my voice is a bit different because I'm, like, stuck up with hay fever and it changes my voice a little bit. Yeah, maybe I'm replaced by AI. It's no longer a sign of time, but AI sign of time. This is a 5 minute time frame, man. Yeah, I'm a bot now. But yeah, you can basically see how we have the higher time frame market maker model, right? Within or a lower time frame one inside a higher time frame one, right? And if you understand that this is going to be a double discount, right? It's gonna provide a cleaner entry criteria for you, maybe, right? You have the allergies too. It sucks sometimes. Oh, it's so bad, man. I've tried everything to get rid of it, but it just doesn't go away. And I already have it for like, I don't know, 15 years or something. It's the worst. I hate it. Wouldn't wish it on my worst enemies. I see a couple people are typing something, so maybe we'll get some questions in. I'm sorry, by the way, if I go too fast over something. Are you gonna plan on doing something with Johnny and his flow state model? I'm not familiar with it, to be honest. Not familiar with it, but I'm down. I'll check it out. I don't know it. More wise and mature now. Maybe that's it. Maybe. Who knows? But you changed up your profile pic, by the way, the wolf. You had a different one before this. New wolf, new you. So yeah, those dealing ranges and whatnot, they can all be used on any time frame, any given time frame. I hope you become profitable with this one. It's for sure gonna be the profile picture change that will lead to profitability, for sure. I'm rooting for you, just so you know. Yeah, so even on those one-sided days, right, where we have price action that just goes up or down in one straight line, right from the start at 9:30, even on those days, if you just pick a higher time frame, you're able to find those things immediately. And the thing is, I'll share you something with you guys. As I said, in those market maker models, right? We always have the OC right here. First stage, second stage, SMR, right? If we're just able to identify just the range that we're in, right? We can also understand where we can expect these stages to happen, right? Usually those things, they are accompanied by specific things, right? So the OC is usually accompanied by a consolidation, right? First stage is usually rate on buy side liquidity slash rebalance, right? So it's either a rate on buy side liquidity like this, or it's rebalancing, right? So it's going down, rebalancing for value gap, going down again, right? It's always just one of the two, right? And whatever PD rate this is doesn't matter for the fact, right? Second stage, gonna be the same thing, right? And then usually we have a try to pair this with a key level. Yeah, perfect, exactly. Usually this is let's say we have a higher time frame sell side liquidity pool right here, right? We'd have something like this, right? We have the OC, this first stage, we have a second stage, get a rate in liquidity, that's where we have the smart money reversal, right? And so on. What happens is, usually, often this piece of price action is very rapid, very fast. Just a one-sided expansion really quickly into a liquidity pool before it moves away or before we go deeper into the liquidity pool, right? Often those days that just go one-sided, one direction only, are just those expansions in here, right? And usually it's hard to position yourself inside those because they're so fast, right? Let's look at the daily on NQ. Remember back in April where we had those fast expansion days lower around the tariff news? Where we flew, what is it, 3,000 points in 3 days? Right, this stage where we ran into what? Equal low sell side liquidity, right? It's a very nice chart from Alex. Like it. I like that. Which session do you think is the best to trade and find dodgy strategy? I know that Dodgy himself, he only trades the AM session, so do with that what you want. Personally, I also just trade the AM session. I do not bother myself with the PM or the pre-market or London anymore. I just trade the PM or AM, sorry. So personally, and it's no financial advice, the AM session is my favorite. And honestly, if it depends on your time zoning and stuff, let's say you're in Asia, I think AM session is going to be pretty hard. due to the timing. It's just a matter of backtesting it for sure because you want to have data on it. Let's see if we close above a 5-minute FVG. Okay, so we have a range and we have a 5-minute FVG that's at the center of this range. Right, that's what you're asking me, right? And then you're asking, you're saying we close above it, right? But when we look at the 15 minutes fair value gap, price has swept the high and came or closed below the CE of the FVG. So on a 15 minutes, it could be that we have this, you mean? A 15-minute fair value gap, or maybe a slightly larger range. We swept something inside here, and we are closing below it. Is this what you mean? And then we'll have M5, M15. Okay, so the main way I look at this, right, is I'm gonna mirror the left side to the right side. And what I mean with that is basically the left side will tell you how well or what the right side is gonna do. So let's say we have, let's just take this small buy model here as an example, right? We'll mark this out. No. Right. Let's go to 15 or 5. I'm basically gonna look at what is the left side doing and how is the right side responding to that, right? Note down, I see liquidity sweep right here. I see a breaker forming in. Price is respecting the breaker at 25%. What do I see? I see this stage right here. And we see this one right here, right? We have a fair value gap inside this, right? I extend it to see there. Is the market closing above it and respecting it, right? Like right here, we are respecting it. Here, we're just retracing to the breaker. Then we break this kind of structure right here. We retrace back into the inverse fair value gap, and then we move higher. We close above 0.5, right? What do we have here? We have this first stage right here. If I extend it, do we see the market respect this? Is it, coming back into it? Yes or no? It just barely misses it, but it expands from it away. Basically, what I'm trying to say is match PD arrays from the left side to the right side, and it will tell you a lot, right? So, for example, we have a fair value gap around here. Extend it. Are we seeing price respected or not, right? And with fair value gaps, it's just the easiest way to do it, right? They're the easiest PD array to see. They're the easiest PD array to understand usually. So I'd say just use it with that, right? Same thing can be done here, right? If we have this big market maker model right there, we'll split it in half. We're at the smart money reversal. So we have the sell side of the curve, buy side of the curve. Let's say we just extend the fair value gaps, right? See if the market's respecting the PD arrays on the left side, if they are inversing it, yes or no. Right, and then we have the buy side pull right there. How about continuation of it? In what sense do you mean the continuation of it? Let's say we go below and we come back up for going lower. So you mean we have the gap right here, we go below, and then we retrace until here to go lower? Is that what you mean? Well, same thing here, right? For me, the drawn liquidity is the most important part, right? So as I said, I'm just looking for buy setup. So this is going to be the main focus for me. So my eyes is going to be here, and if anything happens that aligns with the idea of price going here, I will look for that, right? If I am not looking at this price action in like the first place, then all this is going to be less certain, right? This whole retracement lower for me makes sense, right? Because we want to go up, right? If we want to go up, I want to see moves that counter that first, right? So if we look at this, we took out sell side, we took out buy side, we basically have a premium to discount range. What can we see? We stay in the upper half. We trade into order blocks right there, an order block right here. If we just mark it out, right? And we see that it uses that perfectly to continue its move higher, right? Personally, I would just not be looking at a continuation lower in the first place, right? Even though it reacts to this, right? Because my overall expectation is for us to go there eventually, no matter how long it takes, right? Same thing here, right? We have very clean equal heights up here. My focus is going to be there no matter what, right? I don't care if we break down here. I don't care if we break down here all the way to here, right? And we rate this. Would just mean for me personally that we're most likely going to do something like this, right? Because my eyes are just glued to here. Like there's some big magnet or something up there. So I'd say the drawn liquidity is the most important part, and that will actually save you time or save you a lot of mental stress into looking, are we going to reverse here, yes or no? Because if you're aligned with where we should go, then it's all fine, right? Right. All right. Yeah, no worries, Raman. Hope I made it or I explained it a bit clearly for you. I see a few people are still typing. You have trouble with entries and holding when you enter. You close out a lot. Okay. Um, that's interesting thing. You close out trades early. Personally, when I analyze trading issue, you get scared. Okay, when I analyze trading issues, right? When what I see a lot, what people do is, let's say, scared to hold, right? What people often do, um, and Alex for sure knows the story I'm about to tell here. What people do is they look forward, right? How can I fix my me being scared to hold? How can I fix this, right? They're gonna try and find a fix for this, right? But basically, what this is doing is, in Dutch, you would say you're gonna mop the floor while the water tap is still running, right? Basically, you're gonna keep mopping the floor and while the water is still gonna overflow. The Dutch people here know exactly what I mean. Basically, it means you're trying to fix something that cannot be fixed, right? You're gonna keep repeating the same thing. Instead of looking forward to try and see how we can fix this, right? We should focus on where is it coming from it to begin with, right? What's before this? And so instead of looking forward, I look backwards, right? So instead of asking, how can I fix it? I'm gonna ask myself, why am I scared to hold? Right? So, Samsonite, for you have to ask yourself, why are you scared to hold in the first place? Right? Is it because the number on the screen is very big, bigger than you're used to? Right? Is it a very big financial number and Um, is it that the gravity of that makes you scared? Is it the fact, okay, losing from past losses? Okay, so you're scared to hold because you're scared to lose trades, right? That's a very good start. Okay, perfect. That's a good start. Then we need to ask ourselves, why are you scared to lose trades, right? It's also important. Is it, for example, you're scared to lose the account you're trading? Is it, I don't know, is it, you don't want to give up profits? Anything, could be anything. You need to analyze that for yourself. Analyze why you're scared to lose trades in the first place. Because if we have that answer, right, we can put that into the chain and look where that's coming from, right? And we're basically, what we need to do is analyze each answer that comes before this, right? Until we come to like a certain central issue, right? There's always a root issue to a specific trading, how can I say, trading psychology problem, whether it's over trading, whether it's over leveraging, under leveraging, whatever it is. Whatever you do, make sure to backtrack this cycle, and then you will find the core issue that makes, or that starts this chain, right? Because if you try to fix the end result, right? If you try to fix the end result with, let's say it's a plaster, right? You're trying to fix the end result, so maybe you find a fix, right? And it works for 2 weeks. But what happens is, you have the fix. Let's say this is the fix. It works for 2 weeks, and this gets removed. But what happens is this chain that we have right here, is still there, right? And you're scared to do trades, so you're scared to do blah blah blah. You're scared to hold, and that leads to like the end problem, right? So this is just gonna get regenerated in a sense, right? An example could be, someone is scared to lose trades, right? Because they don't want to lose money, right? And this is just a general example that I've seen with a lot of traders happening, right? They don't want to lose money. Why don't they want to lose money? Because they don't have a lot of money, for example. Why don't they have a lot of money? They do not have a side job, for example. Let's say you're a student, right? You don't have a side job, right? So as long as you do not have a side job and you do not have a steady flow of income coming in, you're gonna have this problem regardless of what happens. Regardless of what you do to try and fix this whole chain is still in place, right? So because you don't have a job, so you're basically, you need to trade for money. You need to earn money, and otherwise you do not have a job. You're not gonna have a lot of money. You don't want to lose money. You're gonna scared to lose trades. You're gonna be scared to hold trades, and this is gonna be there forever, right? You're a business owner. That's perfect. That's great stuff. But yeah, basically you need to find this chain for yourself, right? I'm not saying this chain applies to you because I don't know. I don't know your situation and stuff, but it's basically it's like this for everyone with different root issues, right? And once you find that root issue and fix that first, basically what's going to happen is, because you fix this chain is going to dissolve way easier, right? It's going to be way easier to fix this, and then you're able to fix like the outcome, right? Which is the trading psychology issue that someone's facing. So just apply this, and you'll be able to get to fix this eventually, for sure. Thank you. Losing means you're a failure. You're gonna work a 9 to 5 in your mind. Well, it doesn't equate to it in my head, because losing and winning does not matter at all. It's just a part of a sequence that happens within trading, and whether you win a lot or whether you lose a lot of trades, it does not matter for the end result, to me at least, in any way. Losses are part of the system. That's kind of what I want to say with it. They're just inevitable. They're always going to be there. Yeah, exactly. Got a journal with detailed notes and then review monthly. From your initial fib retracement examples, use the current NQ chart as an analogy. If we're going to the sell side, how do we use the bullish FVG to stay in the trade longer to fill up all the 4 stages? Let's see if I understand what you mean. I'm not sure if I understand your question. If we're going to the sell side, so you mean like we go down here, right? Is that what you mean, Mike? A lot of psychological issues also stem from not trusting the system. Yeah, that's also something that happens a lot. People switch systems a lot. They strategy hop. I'm not sure what you mean exactly, Targaryen. Hope I pronounced that correctly. Uh, why it's orange? You mean DDIFEG? Yeah, like this. I'll show you. Okay, we've had this fair value gap right here, right? This one. This IFEG. What stands out for you with this IFEG and the way price behaves around it? I'll continue the Fibonacci question right after this, Mike. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten. Yeah, Suave Junior. Yeah, basically what happens is we traded and we closed below the indicator, right? But we did not close below the swing, right? So as per the mechanical rules, it would be invalidated right here, right? But let's say you use the swing low, for example, you should still be in. So it's basically the invalidation condition, right? If it's close, it would be invalidated. See, that's the difference. So if you have it on swing, for example, it will show orange because we did close below the inverse gap, but we did not close below the swing right there. Yeah, so you said use a 3-minute chart to analyze this stuff. So yeah, okay. 3-minute chart with the fair value gap, right? Using the fib. And then you wanted me to look at this, right? So basically right now, there's no reason yet to suggest that we should expect lower prices, except for the way a daily candle usually forms within the expectation of time, right? Market closes in like 40 minutes, and because most of like the daily range has already been set, the expectation, at least my expectation, for us to keep going higher decreases personally, right? Because usually I expect the daily range to be set within the large part of the day, and if we've already done that within 9 hours, right? We have expanded for 9 hours straight. Usually, what happens is, because when we have a bullish candle, it will usually do something like this, right? Create a low, which is basically right here. We have midnight, right? We have a low, we set in a high. So we could see the market still trade within this, right? Of course, we have the market on close, which brings a lot of volatility, which could like completely change that, and we could skyrocket another few million points. But basically, in here, you would want to monitor how the market behaves with this gap. Is it closing above it? Yes or no, right? Is it retracing towards this one, maybe, right? What is it showing you? If you use the down to SSL 945. You mean these lows? From 945? Will I use the FVG on the left side for continuation? Ah, inside here. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'd use that for confirmation. Yeah, for continuation. Yeah, exactly. Because the way it usually is, it's very simple like this, right? When we have some sort of swing structure like this, you measure it or you find PD arrays within this swing, right? Let's say there's a gap right here, and then basically this move downwards is going to be the sell side of the curve, and this move upwards is going to be the buy side of the curve, right? So that's what I would be looking at for sure. Yeah, we have equal lows that are rated, and now we're moving up higher. But right now, I just don't trade at this time, so I'm not interested in. Personally, I don't care if it's going to go higher or lower. But that is how I would look for continuations. Yes, by matching it up with PD arrays on the left side in the earlier runs, and then it's just going to be 15 minutes. PD arrays, for example. Just the basic time frame alignment. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my thoughts on it are exactly like that. You align the time frames in order to frame the buy model like this, right? Forever model. Forever model, same thing. Has a crazy amount of options that you can do. You can apply a lot of filters on it, and what I want to show you though is I'm gonna pull up something real quick. I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with this. If you want to see how a tool works crazily in depth, check this out. Every single setting, every single feature, everything there is about an indicator is gonna be described in this article or in these articles. If you visit our help center, every single tool that we release has a dedicated article like this, and we're continuously working to improve these articles. So if you ever see something that doesn't add up, if you ever see something that you think is missing, or if you don't see it because it's missing, if there's anything about an indicator, open a ticket, let us know. I write these as well, so I try to make sure to make them as in-depth as possible to make sure everything is included and people could basically learn how to use an indicator or at least see how everything works just on this page. Yeah, I am recording it, and where you can watch it, I'm gonna make sure to upload it as soon as possible, and after that it's gonna be posted inside the external resources database, Livestream database right here. So yeah, if you ever have questions or if you're have any doubt or anything you want to know about a tool, just visit the help center first, because I think that's gonna answer most of your things anyway, and it's way quicker than trying to ask someone or opening a ticket, right? Because you're just gonna have everything in there. Because I make sure to describe every single setting in there, and if something misses, let me know. I'll make sure to add it as well. So yeah, I don't have anything to add anymore for now. I think we're gonna keep it at this for now, and we're gonna make sure to do another live stream soon. I'll try to prepare another presentation by then. If you have any suggestions, anything you want to see from me, anything at all, let me know. Appreciate you guys. Hope you all have a great evening or afternoon, depending on where you're from. Where are you guys from? Let me know. I'm interested. I'm Dutch, by the way, Netherlands. So I'm in Europe time, or Central European time, GMT +2. Reno, Nevada, nice. Vancouver, Italy. Dallas, Uzbekistan. Ireland, Denmark, but live in London. Nice. Very interesting to see where you're. We're all Dutch in our own way. Yeah, we are. South Africa. Nice. San Jose, San Francisco. Man, I love it, man. Very international community in here. That's so sick. I love that. Well, I could guess where Athlete Traits is from now with that GIF as well. Yeah, very international community. Love to see it. Love to see it. I hope you all have a great day. I'll make sure to upload the live stream as soon as possible. How price touches your stop loss. Oh no. Oh no. All right. Have a great evening, afternoon, morning, depending on where you're from. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.